The day I arrived, the 1 ton gold coin, the largest gold coin in the world, that sits right next to me here in our exhibition centre, was valued at $98 million the day I arrived.
Oh my gosh.
It's now just touching over 200 million. We've seen some highs and we've seen some lows over the journey, as we all have in this industry. COVID being the more recent times where we've seen unprecedented demand. But from what I'm hearing from our people, this even goes further than what we experienced in COVID.
We're looking at the Dragon coin bar from 2025. This is one of my favorite coins ever made. And you were the one who did the artwork for this, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. This one was one of my favorite coins to do.
Buy your gold and silver online from SD Bullion. New customers get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new. I traveled around the world to the Perth Mint in Australia, and while I was there, I got to have an exclusive sit down with the CEO. We talked about the Perth Mint itself, as well as what's going on in the gold market today. I was also able to sit down with one of the coin designers who designed one of my favorite coins ever produced. But before I show all of that, let's take a look at some of the things you could see if you visit the Perth Mint yourself.
I mean, it's bizarre how they did. Look how they did the rim. It's like
Oh
a
my
router.
gosh. So you had to factor that in. They had to make it too big, and then because they knew they were going to route out the rim. Yeah, so right down there is where the coin goes every single night. And people can come tour the mint. They can see it for themselves. We've got Queen Elizabeth here on the obverse of the largest gold coin in the world. They've got all of these safety warnings and whatnot.
So it's 80 centimeters diameter, 12 centimeters thick, and as I said, 12 kilos heavier than the 1 ton.
Wow. So if someone else makes a 1 ton, they still won't break the record. You just got to ensure that you'll always have it. Got some really cool stuff. You can see here a sovereign trial plate. And look at this counterfeit half sovereign right there, all broken. But the really cool thing is up here, they have the very first coin ever minted at the Perth Mint. And that's it. And it's got a dragon on it. But that's cool, they have the first one ever made. And then right here they have the trial plate that is 6 nines fine gold. So 99.9999 fine gold. That's the purest gold in the world right there. Here are the medals that were given out at the Sydney Olympic Games. You've got bronze, you've got silver, and look how much it's tarnished. You can definitely tell it's real silver. And then the gold medals, these are actually silver, but they're gold plated. So at least 6 grams of gold in those. All right, and you can actually mint your own medallion. So we got one here, and it's all automated. So you just pop it in. Here it goes. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of pressure right there. 1899. And what building is that?
Yeah, that's our building.
That's the
Oh, that's the building right here.
And on the other side?
Oh, I flipped it the wrong way. I'm used to American coins. Struck at the Perth Mint. And you can even get a little capsule for it.
After seeing some of the great things the Mint had to offer, it was time to interview the CEO, and this is one you're not going to want to miss.
All right, well, I'm here with the CEO of the Perth Mint, Paul Graham. It's nice to meet you.
Great to see you, Caleb, and welcome to the Mint.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to say, I've seen the city a little bit. It's a beautiful city, and the Mint is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank you. We're very, very proud of it. As you probably know, and in your tour and the time you spent with some of our people, 126 years
Wow.
in operation, which makes us one of the oldest mints down here in the Southern Hemisphere. So we're very proud of that history.
That's great. And can you tell me, how long have you been here at the Perth Mint?
Just on 2 years. So I joined back in October, November 2023.
Okay, well, it's a great time to get in, and precious metals prices have been going up, and I noticed when I did one of the tours, you guys were doing some improvements and stuff. So is that one of the things you guys are working on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you a funny story. The day I arrived, the 1 ton gold coin, the largest gold coin in the world, that sits right next to me here in our exhibition centre, was valued at $98 million the day I arrived.
Oh my gosh.
It's now just touching over 200 million, Caleb. So it just shows you the run that we're all on here in the precious metals industry. And what that tells me is that our legacy of 126 years, the current interest, if you like, globally in precious metals means you've got to keep relevant. You've got to keep investing in your business, and we're certainly on a path of that. So over the last 2 years, and certainly prior to my arrival here, the board and the management have done a fantastic job in trying to continue to keep the Perth Mint at the forefront of the precious metals industry, and that's certainly on my agenda to keep that going.
Well, I got to tell you, coming from the States, everyone knows the Perth Mint. You guys make the best stuff, and the variety is incredible too. So many different designs and whatnot. And so if it's from the Perth Mint, I know it's going to be high quality.
For sure. And we're very, very proud of that. And that's something that we cannot compromise on going forward. And if anything, trying to make the best even better will be our challenge. You asked that question around our commitment to investment in the organisation. Over the last 3 years, and certainly over the next three, if we look at that 5 to 6 time year horizon, we'll be spending close to Aussie dollars 100 million here. And that's not an insignificant investment. Our owners are very, very committed to what we're doing here. We know that we're a sovereign mint. We're owned by the West Australian government. We're AAA rated. And for us to be able to protect those characteristics of the mint is super important. So we're on the journey. We're riding a crest of a wave right now, so things are playing out quite nicely for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, which country has the biggest market for Perth Mint bullion thus far in 2025?
I'd have to say the US.
Okay.
And that's not because you're sitting here with me. And thank you to all of our friends watching in the US. You are literally our friends. We love the way you support us in terms of the quality, the products that we're putting out, the innovations that are coming. And I know you'll meet one of our really cool designers shortly. And more is to come, but we can't thank all the folks that support us in the US enough. So, it's great to have you down here. I encourage more to come down and see us. You're always very, very welcome.
I'm curious too, what is the best selling bullion product that the Perth Mint produces?
Look, there's a few, but you can't go past the kangaroos, the koalas, and the kookaburras. Silver, obviously, in volume. Obviously, our gold series in value do very, very well. But I'm loving our minted bars at the moment, and I know the US is loving those as well, so let's keep that going.
I gotta say, the Dragon coin bar is my absolute favorite, and I have the entire series, and I'm never gonna stop collecting it, so hopefully you guys keep doing that forever.
It's a bestseller. You're not alone in that sentiment. We're aware of that, and we'll make sure that we keep meeting the demand.
Hey, another interesting thing that's going on right now, there's been a lot of talk about lease rate activity in 2025. Is that having any impact on the Perth Mint?
Look, it certainly did. And when we think back 6 or 7 months ago, around January, February, March this year, lease rates shot up to almost unprecedented levels. We're very fortunate here at the Perth Mint, though. We have a very large precious metals depository business. And what that essentially does is fund our business. And so we weren't perhaps as affected as many others. So we're very, very fortunate that we have that depository business here. But that doesn't mean we rest on our laurels. We've got to keep making sure that we manage the supply chain and the throughput through the business in a very effective and efficient manner, so we can keep our prices low and the quality high.
Well, I got to say the quality is exceptional. And I am kind of curious too, where do you guys mostly source your gold and silver from?
Well, it's a very good question. The majority of our gold is sourced here in Australia.
That's good.
And actually, the majority of that source is from Western Australia, so the west coast of Australia here in Perth. The gold mining industry collectively produces just over 300 tonne per annum. So we're probably in the second or third largest gold producing country globally. But when you think from an ability to be able to pull it out of the ground and export it, we're one of the top two. We have about 70 to 75% market share here in Australia of that doré market. But the way the growth's going at the moment, well, obviously it's not just about the doré for us, it's also having a share of the secondary scrap metal supply that goes through our refinery, because our goal is to do over 300 tonne per annum of just gold.
That's
through
impressive.
the refinery, and about 500 tonne per annum of silver. So, 800 tonne per annum will go through our refinery, so we need to remain, open-eyed and wide-eyed around where that source might come from. But we're very fortunate to have the doré from the producers here in Australia.
Perth Mint is just well-renowned, but what would you say is the biggest thing that sets it apart from other mints around the world?
I mentioned before that we're owned by the Government of Western Australia. They're a AAA rated organisation. That gives us the strength, not only from the investment that I talked about of over $100 million, the balance sheet strength, but also having that government standing behind you, ensuring that the quality remains. 126 years in operation. We're very, very proud of that, and we have every intention to be around for the next 126 years. I think it's the integrated nature of our business. So we talked about the doré coming from the producers locally that come to our refinery through the assaying and the manufacturing and all the way through to our coining division and our mint, and then out into global markets. We're currently exporting around $35 billion Aussie into about 80 countries globally.
Wow.
The US being the most dominant market. So that integrated nature, the AAA rated nature of our balance sheet with the government ownership, and of course this year the LBMA just announced our referee status, which allows us to be right up there with the top mints globally around the world in terms of our integrity and our quality and our service.
Well, I would say you guys are definitely one of the top for sure. And I'm curious, I saw an article on your guys' website actually. It said mint gold in demand as price surges. And they were saying that it's gone from about 5,000 visitors per week to over 9,000 visitors. And talking to the ladies at reception, they said there's just a line out the door. You think this is some of the biggest demand you guys have ever seen?
Without doubt. We've seen some highs and we've seen some lows over the journey, as we all have in this industry. COVID being the more recent times where we've seen unprecedented demand. But from what I'm hearing from our people, this even goes further than what we experienced in COVID. Wow. So you're right, there's just under 10,000 people per week coming through our front doors, which is quite incredible. From a tourism point of view, because we do have a large tourist business here, that makes us one of the top 2 or 3 tourist destinations here in Western Australia. And if we think about that, when you're competing against all those other things that people like to go to, that puts a real spotlight on the precious metals industry and for all of us that are involved in this industry. So we don't take that lightly, our responsibility to do this in a way that serves the needs of our local communities but respects the wishes of the global precious metals commodity community as well.
Sure. Well, I would highly recommend if anyone comes to Perth, you have to go do the tour. It's fantastic, and you can see the world's largest gold coin. And one last question for you, Paul. What's next for the Perth Mint? You guys are always innovating. What's next on the horizon?
Yeah, look, we want to get closer to all of our customers. As an organisation, we feel that this is a partnership approach, and the expectations on us is to keep coming with the innovative product. So I'd like to see the guys grow into the licenses a little bit more, even a lot more innovation with our numismatic products. We'll always stick to those core products. We won't let people down. They'll keep coming at the highest purities and the highest quality that you would expect from us. But I think innovation and keeping the demand going. And the last point I would say to you is the younger generations coming through. Let's encourage them to be the new coin and bar collectors of the future. And what do they want? So if anybody out there's got some good ideas, let us know. We'd love to hear. And if it makes sense, we'll do it.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for the time.
My pleasure.
Next up, I talked to one of the artists at the Perth Mint and learn about the process to design these beautiful coins.
All right, so I'm here with Lucas, one of the artwork designers at the Perth Mint.
Hi, how you doing?
And we're looking at the Dragon coin bar from 2025. This is one of my favorite coins ever made. And you were the one who did the artwork for this, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. This one was one of my favorite coins to do.
So how long does it take for you to draw something like this?
Now that can often depend on how quickly you come up with the idea and how happy you are with it. If we were to assume that this idea is fully established and I've got my composition how I want it and all that, getting in there and doing that finished drawing would probably be the work of maybe at least a week.
A whole week?
Yeah, especially when you have dragons, because all these scales and things take a lot of time to fill in all those details. But you usually spend a lot of time sketching very, rough blue, what I call blue lines around as well, just to get is this shape, is this going to be just how I want it, and maybe that tail should flick that way instead, or it's developing the composition and stuff. So, it's something that you can spend quite a while on sometimes.
And so what's going on here? You've got a bunch of different things labeled.
Okay, so that drawing that you were just looking at is the original sketch of what I'm looking for into. In this case, it's a rectangular coin, obviously, so I'm thinking that. What we've got up here now is the production art for that. So once we've submitted that artwork as it would be formatted, so if I take a little scroll here, you can see that all the important information is kept in this production art, so it's showing at actual size, so you can see how it's going to look there. It tells the press people, like let's say for example the coin had colour on it, you want to know this is the press version of the coin, this is the raised part. If there's any infused portions, we'd put them in. If there's colour, we'd put that there separately. And all of these little tiny notes with all the little dots pointing all over the place there, that's where we establish our finishes, and that's to tell the die polishing team how we want different areas of the coin finished, because we put a lot of effort in Perth Mint coins into using the finishes to develop depth to the artwork. And to a coin designer, finishes are almost like colours are to a painter. It breaks up and makes obviously the image more dynamic and easy to see. So what you're looking at there with that brightly coloured image is what we call a die polishing map. So that tells the die polishers in visual terms, whereas the notes on the other one, this is the visual version of that has what parts would be frosted finish, frosted being your bullion finish, that almost white, all the way through to bright, which is that highly polished look you get with proof coins and stuff. So we make these maps to make a quick and easy visual way for the die polishers to understand exactly which parts we're looking for, what finishes.
Well, I gotta say, this is definitely my favorite series of all time, the Dragon coin bars from the Perth Mint. You guys do a different design every year, and the 2025 is just such a powerful design. Job well done.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for talking to us.
I thought it was great to be able to talk to the man who actually designed this coin bar right here. Such a beautiful work of art. It was also great talking with the CEO. He had wonderful insight on the mint as well as what is going on with gold. But make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because this is just the first video I have coming out in a series at the Perth Mint. I show the refining process of gold as well as how coins are actually minted. So you don't want to miss those. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Silver Dragons out.